And the AI thing, and we have somebody who Kimberly Selness, who I assume is member of the public.
I'm not getting those this time. I don't know if you've made me a co-administrator like you did before.
No, I can only hand it over to you. I can't make you a co.
Okay. Well, if you want me to be the bouncer, let me know.
There's Charlie. Okay, well, if Paul makes it in, I will, and Jim, I will let them in as I see them. To get started, I will call the August 26, 2025 ITAC meeting to order. The recording has already started. The first order of business, as usual, is to choose which of you who are members of ITAC is going to take the minutes.
Okay, I'll volunteer. It's probably my turn anyways.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Charlie.
However, I just would like to confirm, I think this is true, that the AI recorder is on
It is on.
and the contents of that will be available to me through you
Absolutely.
after the meeting.
Yep, absolutely.
Good. That's the
You
only way
strike
to
a
do it.
hard bargain, Charlie.
Yeah.
Yep, the only way to do it, John. And I bet, Jonathan, I bet you made that condition in your own mind.
Exactly.
Okay.
I don't know if it's getting better. I'm getting used to it, but AI transcriptions and summaries are pretty good.
Yeah, they've gotten much better since the first couple of times we tried them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so the next order of business is attendance. Charlie, you can see that. Please note we have two guests here, Chris Ryan, who is a town staff, and Kimberly Kelsey Selness, who I assume is a member of the public.
Chris, what part of the town staff are you a member of?
I'm the director of the Office of Planning and Building.
Okay. Dave, how do we handle the our now former member?
What, Kristen?
Yeah, we just don't list her as being a member, and therefore,
Correct. She's not. She is not missing. She's just not.
Yeah.
offhand, what members are missing?
Paul and Jim are the only ones who are not on right now. Jim let me know he's going to be late. Paul, I expect to be on because he sent the minutes around and didn't say anything otherwise.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And speaking of Paul, he took the minutes last time, and the next order of business is to approve them. So let me share my screen. Where is that? There it is. Okay, hopefully nobody tries to get in. Oh, actually, can I do that? Yes, I can. Good. Okay, can you all see the shared screen?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, great.
Members of the
Paul
public.
did not catch Lars's last name, and unfortunately, neither did I. So if anybody did, I think Lars is Kristen's friend who was considering
Joining.
becoming a member.
Okay.
Oh,
I apparently did not write it down. Sorry.
yeah. I might have it in an earlier minutes from the previous month that he also attended. So I'll try to find that.
Actually, I take it back. I didn't take notes on his name because I wasn't here for that meeting.
Yeah.
Right.
Lars Kellogg Stedman.
Thank you.
Kellogg,
Yes,
Kellogg dash Stedman, capital Stedman.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there an A in there? Stead?
No, Not, at least not the way Kristen
Okay.
in her email, unless she made a typo.
Yeah,
I remember
that's probably
recognizing the name because I think he worked at Harvard at the same time I was there.
Hmm.
So
okay. So moving down. Oh, I don't know how I didn't catch this when I looked at it the first time, but I don't actually remember doing a coin toss. I do remember that there was a bit of reluctance on everybody's part, but
I also don't remember a coin toss,
I
but
I think I'm just gonna take out that the little joke.
I missed a fun meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was short because the bulk of it was the executive session. Okay, any comments or a motion to approve?
so moved.
Thank you. A second?
I'll second.
Okay. I'll go do the roll call. I'll say aye. Dan?
If I abstain, will we have a quorum? Because I wasn't here for this.
I don't know if we actually need to for the vote on on the minutes, but
I will abstain on the basis that I wasn't at the meeting.
okay, Jonathan
Aye.
Green, thank you.
Aye.
Jonathan Burge,
Abstain for the same reason.
Charlie,
Yeah, that's fine.
okay, Phil.
Abstain for the same reason.
All right, well, there's at least three of us who are okay with it, so let's call that approved. And I will take the responsibility to put it into into a Word document, which I think Google actually generates now pretty nicely, and send it off to town clerk. With that, we can move on to the next topic on the agenda, public comments and questions. Kimberly, is there anything you want to bring up?
No, I don't have anything to bring up. I just wanted to sit in on the meeting and see what Chris had to say and to see how ITAC can, contribute to these initiatives. Because it's not just what Chris has coming up the pipeline, it's what all the other things coming down the town's pipeline.
Okay,
Thank you.
So that's a good segue because Chris, you're next.
All
So
right.
by introduction, Dan and I met with Chris at the I guess the second week of July, and he gave us an overview of the comprehensive plan project, and we kind of started talking a little bit about how technology can play a role and how ITAC can help with that. And I will turn it over to Chris to elaborate.
Great. Thank you, David. I appreciate it. So I'm going to start by making the assumption that not every single person here knows exactly what a comprehensive plan is. You may all know it, but I'll just give a brief overview. Many years ago, probably starting in the 1920s, with the Hoover administration, believe it or not, the comprehensive plan, which originally was called a master plan, was sort of a way for local communities to develop a land use plan for the future. And since then, they've evolved into more of a, as it says from its title, a comprehensive plan that looks at all phases of the community by coming up with a vision and then coming up with a plan that is essentially the blueprint for the vision. We have 9 different categories or chapters that we're focusing on, including transportation and land use and community facilities and services, housing, sustainability, open space and recreation, and a few others. And so it's particularly the community services and facilities chapter that I think would be most relevant to this committee. But there are other parts of the plan that technology can inform and contribute to. So I don't necessarily rule out that there are other ways to connect this committee to other parts of the plan. The town hired a consultant, VHB, out of Watertown, to develop this comprehensive plan. And the timeline takes us through August of next year, when hopefully it will be approved and adopted by the town. This was done actually in 2010. A similar process took place. And the plan only has to be adopted by the planning board, and it's an effective plan for the community. But for some reason, back in 2010, the powers that be, in their infinite wisdom, chose to take it to town meeting, where they effectively tabled it and never took it off the table. And because of that step, I guess there was a thought that it doesn't have community consensus, and therefore we're not going to pay any attention to it. So there it sat for 15 years, and here we are again, and hopefully we won't have that same situation. But the last comprehensive plan that was actually adopted and utilized and implemented for Belmont was in the John F. Kennedy year of 1963. So it's been a long, long time. Most communities don't go that long. And the value of a plan is not only to provide that blueprint, which in many communities guides decision making and informs going after grants and developing projects, but it also can be very valuable in actually securing those grants, because one of the things that grant applications often ask is the question, does your community have a comprehensive plan? And it's always great to be able to check off the box that says, yes, we do. So with all of that background, VHB is moving fairly quickly to start to pull together draft chapters. They've already had focus groups. We conducted a survey, which hopefully you participated in, you heard about. If you didn't, I guess we failed in terms of our outreach, but we really tried pretty hard to get the word out that that survey was available. And we also have a committee of 10 members of the public that have been appointed, and they're sort of guiding the process, giving feedback to the consultant on various products. And so one of the, as I was talking about earlier, one of the chapters is community facilities and services. And Chris McClure actually participated in that and provided some feedback. But I think, in my mind, Belmont is not super unique in terms of municipalities, but I think Belmont shares, I think, one of the structural problems that many communities have, and that is budgetary and staffing. And I think that in this world that we live in today, technology is uniquely poised to allow us to fill the gap that otherwise would be filled with personnel, so that we can actually be productive and efficient and provide great customer service for the public, and accomplish goals and objectives and actions that we want to accomplish, whereas maybe based on our limited staffing might be a challenge for us. So that's, I think, my overall presentation or discussion of what the plan is and where I think this committee fits in. And I've always been somebody who's utilized technology. Back in 1993, when I was the planning director for Douglas County, Georgia, I was one of the first department heads to have an email account and develop a web page took web classes. So I've been an early adopter, and I definitely see the value of you using technology to accomplish a variety of different things. So wanted to just see if there's anything that maybe you guys would like to offer in terms of potential contributions beyond, Chris's participation in that one focus group that might maybe inform the consultants to try to integrate technology into this plan, not only for, community services, but, in a broader sense. I would love it if, maybe you're interested in thinking about how a variety of different actions could be taken to accomplish some of these things. Maybe a memo could be put together, or I could convey information in another way to the consultants so that they could, look at what some of the options that we might be able to use are. And I'll leave it at that, and just open it up to you for any questions or just an open conversation on the topic.
So, Chris, I know it was dated, but I think after our meeting, I did share with you the 21st century government proposal that I think Paul and I and Phil were the primary authors of, that we put out, what, in the 2018, 2019 timeframe, something like that. I don't know if there's anything in there that just kind of gives you an idea of the sorts of things we were thinking about. And I don't know if those concepts really fit in what you're looking at. We were really focused on a town government thing. We talked a lot about streamlining things like the process for dealing with meeting minutes and agendas and stuff like that, which right now is very manual. And wouldn't it be nice if we could take advantage of our Office 365 license and and create a workflow, that sort of thing.
Yeah. No, I think definitely that's part of it. I mean, the comprehensive plan essentially comes up with a final product that's called an implementation plan. And the implementation plan is nested with goals, objectives, and action statements. And those action statements or strategies are very specific, achievable tasks. And so the idea is that you get down to the granular. I'm not sure how granular, but as granular enough as it would be something that a department head or a committee or a consultant or somebody could actually have, marching orders, I guess, to accomplish that specific task. And again, the tasks, as they're nested under the goals, which are nested under the chapters, are intended to achieve a particular vision for that chapter. But all the chapters are in many ways interrelated, and that's also the comprehensive nature of the plan. So you do something in land use, and there's definitely a connection to transportation or housing or something like that. So there's always a interconnectivity. So I definitely think that some of the things that are in that document are certainly things that could be made actions of a plan. It's been 7 years since then, and technology's changed. There's new tools out there,
Sure.
and I think some of those new tools allow us to do things that we perhaps didn't even conceive of, as recently as the last decade. So I think it's an opportunity really to not only to confirm what was valid back then, but also to think of some new things that can be developed or thought of that might deal with exactly as you said, David, efficiency. I think the public expects to have a good customer service when they deal with the town. And I think the town expects to be able to do that back to its customers. So anything like that certainly is valid. But I think there are other things as well. Like, for example, we're working on the center zoning right now, which is pretty controversial in some quarters, but others are very interested in the economic development potential. And we've done a fiscal impact analysis, and it may be that maybe we utilize AI to evaluate our tool to see if we've got it right, or we could have the zoning language run through it to see if there's anything that is maybe best practices can inform some of the things that we're proposing. So that's just a couple of examples.
Yeah, one of the
Nope.
examples that we talked about when we met with you was the difficulty of contracting right now. How each town is a little bit different, and how that makes it very difficult for each town to make sure that they've got everything figured out. So I think that might be an example where the technique of running it through an AI and seeing whether the AI can make heads or tails of it could be beneficial. I'm sorry, I interrupted. I think Phil has his hand up.
I just actually really kind of wanted to ask a couple of background questions. How far along are you on putting together the comprehensive plan? Do you have a skeletal outline already? If so, can you share with us what are the top level items or an example of them? I don't know if you have to exhaustively go through them, but what are they, and where, just roughly where are you with it? I mean, I think you here we're all chomping at the bit to let's go ahead and see how we can help here, but a little bit of background would probably be good.
Yeah, no, and I probably would have been helpful to share some of the materials that have been provided to our committee that they've already given feedback on. Like I said, we had the focus groups. The focus groups came up with a lot of information that sort of dovetailed with the public feedback from the survey. And so there's a lot of information that has been provided, but it was sort of like a fire hose.
Mm.
So right now, the consultants are trying to synthesize it and boil it down to some concrete, hopefully consensus-oriented, statements and direction. I think a lot of what we've heard so far is just the lack of capacity in the town. That's based on the structural budget deficit.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think a lot of these things sort of interconnect in that way as well. There was also some in the public say that the government needs to be more responsive and more communicative. I think that there is an overall theme of disconnect in the community in terms of various different groups or sectors, I guess, if you want to call it that way. There's a lot of different types of groupings of individuals with certain perspectives, political perspectives, economic perspectives, perspectives on a variety of topics like housing, whether they're on one group is welcoming for new housing and others want to keep it out. So we have to figure out a way to how to balance that and try to find a way that, I guess, honors most perspectives that are reasonable. But I can maybe try to share with you guys. I can't do it tonight, but I can try to pass along, the products that have been developed so far that, again, are just very much in their infancy. But the consultants are working diligently to try to pull it together and come up with chapter outlines, background information. Each chapter is going to be starting off with a background of what the current conditions are, the history that led up to the current conditions, and then what some of the identified problems are. And then the vision is how do we address those problems? And then the goals and actions try to find a way to make it happen. So that's kind of how it works.
So I can imagine a number of phases. First is sort of the information gathering phase, and then the distillation of the information and formation of of a plan, and then obviously the ratification of the plan, and then one thing that maybe it'd be very interesting to us, I think, is once it's ratified, how is it actually utilized, and how is it brought into conversations without it just being a social sort of contract that we will all actually try to promise to use it, right? And that might be yet another place where I'm getting ahead of things, but where information technology might be very, very helpful.
No, definitely is a very important question related to comprehensive plans. I mean, I think the cliche is that we spend hundreds of thousands of dollars and many, many person hours to develop something that sits on a shelf and gathers dust. And I think the challenge is always, what are we going to do to try to implement this plan? Often communities come up with an implementation committee that is tasked with carrying it forward. It usually has members that maybe reflect what the advisory committee that developed the plan was made up of. But often implementation committees are intended to be a little bit more focused on the individual chapter topics. So, for example, for transportation, you might want to have somebody from the TAC and from the engineering office at the town. So those are the people that actually work on transportation projects. So they should be, part of the team that leads, action items that relate to transportation. So I think it's going to be important to structure the implementation recommendations based on having that body, that group that's responsible for carrying it out.
Interesting. Thanks.
Dan?
So,
Is there any? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Go ahead, Dan. Yeah.
so I certainly agree with your point that there are a lot of different groups in the town, and some of them don't necessarily feel that their perspective or their viewpoint is heard or understood. But I've also noticed that my dealings with other communities, similar sized towns, that this seems to be a common problem. And I'm not saying it's not a problem because it's a common problem. I'm saying, is it a solvable problem? Are we doing worse than other towns? Are we doing better?
Well, it's interesting you ask that question, because one of the chapters that we have in the plan is not a common chapter. In fact, the consultants had never heard of it before when I recommended it as part of the RFP, and it's called community cohesion. The idea is, what can we do to try to find ways to bring us closer together, to communicate better, to try to overcome some of our differences, if possible, as you sort of alluded to. And so it was so interesting to them that they're actually having a session at the annual conference that they attend, that's going to be in Newport this November, to talk about that particular topic as a part of a comprehensive plan. And I'm on the panel, so it's going to be interesting to see how putting that together in parallel with trying to do it here in this community actually plays out. But there's a lot of different information that I'm starting to mine. I don't know if you've ever heard of the book Bowling Alone by Robert Putnam. But it talks about how we used to be a culture, a nation of participation and joining, and how that sort of fell apart after the, quote, greatest generation. And so he has another book out that's called Better Together, that's sort of a follow-up that offers a lot of different recommendations based on other groups and communities throughout the country that have tried to solve this problem, and in some ways have solved part of it. So I'm continuing my research on it, but I think we need to figure out what works for Belmont and what are some of the chasms that we have to overcome here. So it's a work in progress.
Do you, is there any, would could part of this possibly be recommendations about structural changes to Belmont's form of government? Because I think one of the problems that we're having around, uh, execution of larger visions and plans, and the community's feeling of being disconnected, is that we're a small city of 30,000 people running with a government that was created 100 years ago for a small agricultural community, and there is just not a lot of. It is not very top down. It is very decentralized. It is very, you know, kind of fiefdoms and competing, agendas and so on, resistance to change, as you pointed out. So could part of this vision be, kind of reinforcing what we've heard from some of the assessments from the third party independent assessments that have been done of Belmont, which is you need structural change to how your town government works.
Yeah, I think, Paul, you're referring to the Collins Center report.
The Collins Center report.
Others,
yeah.
yeah.
There were others before that, I think, that also made similar recommendations. But yeah,
Sure.
most recently the Collins Center.
And I guess the answer to that is sure, absolutely. I mean, I know that there probably are some that are integrated into the system and are thriving in it, so they don't want change to occur. They like it the way it is, and I think there are others, as you hint at, that think that there could be some significant improvements to the way it works and is structured. So yeah, I think that's part of the overall game. How much of that could find its way into a final document, I have no damn idea. But I think it's a good question to ask. And the consultants already have the Collins Center report, so it'll be interesting to see whether that's something that they choose to mine and build on. So, but yes, I think that's certainly something that I would imagine could very well include some action items as a result of that.
You're muted, Paul.
Yeah, no. Do environmental and kind of sustainability, does that figure in fairly? And when you look at what other communities have done, is that definitely a big driver as well?
It is, and it is a chapter. Natural resources and sustainability is a chapter in the plan. I think it's going to be an interesting challenge to see how that kind of plays out. I know we have an energy committee. I think based on my interaction with the energy committee, I don't think that they feel like they're heard or taken seriously, even though we've passed the energy stretch code and done some other pretty, I think, significant things. The one thing that I've shared with the consultants is that we have an energy committee, but we don't have a sustainability committee. I mean, energy is one pillar or one part of one pillar of sustainability, which has the 3 E's, economics, equity, and environment. And and you also have both sides of the equation. You have of climate change, you have mitigation on one hand, but you also have adaptation and resilience on the other. So I don't think that, at least officially, Belmont does enough to cover all of that. And maybe one recommendation could be to consider creating a sustainability committee and, basically folding the energy committee into that. I don't know if that'll go anywhere, but if they really want to take seriously the sustainability holistically, I think that may be something to consider.
Does the comprehensive plan kind of start with a vision statement?
Yes.
Okay. And has that been kind of honed yet, or is that still in the works?
So the consultant, based on the fire hose, for lack of a better term, came up with an initial vision statement overall and a series of vision statements for each chapter. chapter.
Oh, cool.
I think it wasn't a great first try.
It was
But-
not, you say.
No, but we sent that through the committee, and we got a lot of feedback. And
Okay.
right now, the consultants are considering the feedback to
Okay.
see if they can develop a second draft of each of those. So that's being worked on right now.
I think that would be helpful to share with the committee as soon as there is one, just because I mean, I think we're all kind of scratching our heads of like, okay, well, as I say, I think they're different phases of the development of it, and we probably have different thoughts for each one of the phases, how we might cooperate and participate and add value, hopefully. Um, it, but having that top level kind of, okay, here's the goals that we're trying to achieve might give some uh, get our juices flowing on exactly what that would mean and how we would participate.
Absolutely. I'll definitely get those to you. The other thing I can suggest is that you may want to go to the committee page and just see who the roster is. There may be somebody that you know. And, I bet I am absolutely certain, because one of the reasons I'm here is because the committee wanted to reach out to all committees in town to give a sort of a background and outline of the plan process, and to try to get interest in participating at whatever level or way that you felt comfortable. So one of the things that I can maybe recommend is perhaps having one of your members visit the committee in one of its future meetings.
Can you remind us the name of the committee?
Yes, it's the Belmont Comprehensive Plan Advisory Committee.
Okay.
And I think they're actually a pretty remarkable group of people who I think would be very open to ideas from all corners. So please think about that as well. Kimberly.
I'm not sure. Am I allowed to ask questions?
Of course.
Oh, yes.
All right. Kimberly Kelsey Selness, residents, town meeting member, precinct 7. So I really wanted to come because I really wanted to see what the committee could lend to a major initiative. We have the technology in terms of we have a new website. We have new methods of communication that are probably underutilized. We have new project pages that could be better utilized. And so I would ask Chris, because I think this is really important, regardless whether it's, Belmont Town Center or the community path or the MBT 3A, there are going to be projects that we have in Belmont that people are going to come in at certain types. Some came in last year, some came in, 6 months ago, some people are just catching up on. And so when it comes to what is the project, what are our goals, what is the timeline? So any of us in the general community, the almost 30,000 people, can come in at any point and just find that. So I do think it's really been a manpower issue of who is updating web pages or can update content. But I think that goes a long way in terms of sharing. Here are some initiatives. How do we share it? How do we catch people up? How do we get people interested and engaged and caring?
Yeah.
So that is my
Kimberly?
thing. Like we have when it comes to the platform, we have that technology, but where we are deficient, and not for nothing, I was on the website committee back before we changed platforms, and I'm still I get messages from Watertown, Cambridge for public safety, Lexington for media, Cambridge, Watertown. I get occasional Waltham. I think I'm off Newton now, but other communities just regularly update, and it's snippets. So it's not that fire hose of content, Chris, that you mentioned. You need to engage us in the smaller bits hey, here's what's going on in our community. Wouldn't it be great if we engage in like economic development? Um, Start there
Yeah,
at the front
I
door,
agree with
and the website is the front door.
No, I
It's my thank you.
agree. And, I think one of the things that I think is promising is that the town is going to be hiring a webmaster. I think they're in the process of advertising for it now. If they haven't found anybody yet, I know that they're going to do that. And it is a challenge to keep the website up to date. Usually I have to do it myself. And, I've got other things to do as a department head, but I think it's too important to not make sure that the material that's necessary to be on the web to inform the public is there. I think our project page for the center zoning is fairly good and fairly filled with background material, particularly an FAQ that we developed a couple of months ago. But there's more that we can provide. And I uploaded stuff yesterday. I uploaded stuff today. I think one of the biggest challenges I face is as much as I put up there, I still have people coming up and saying, I don't know anything about this project. I don't know anything about this initiative. I don't know how many people even know that we have a website, that we have this information for these projects. And I think one of the
Yeah,
things,
because people don't know there's a project because they don't care about it. So it's not about the 25 deep dive people that really are getting into that nitty gritty and really want us to wait until like, kick the can down the road because we need to reel it back and we can ask AI, hey, here are all the documents they have. Give us a, 3 paragraphs. What is this project about? And why should a resident care? But I think that's where it is. I think that you guys get so much noise from a small segment of the population that derails the rest of the community where we feel like we can't catch up
yeah.
or just, block it out.
No, I see that.
But
And
I'll think about, we can catch up on the side, but because I don't want to deflect, because I know I'm just a guest here. But I really think that's where it is. If you go to our homepage, you may have the most robust web page for this project. But if you go to our homepage, what is there to engage a new resident? I've got new neighbors moving in left and right. I don't see anything that's going to get them to like click and to learn about this. I'm lucky if they can get their mattresses and their boxes off the street,
I value and appreciate your point, Kimberly, and I hope that you can touch base with me and have further conversations about this.
But thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Good comments, and it is definitely an outreach is a tough problem, and in information dissemination is without the right information to the right time, in the right format, and not having a deluge of it is a tough problem to get right.
It is, and social media actually is obviously with the proliferation of all the different platforms, the one thing that I think governments don't do very well is figure out how to utilize social media in a strategic way.
Yeah.
I think one of the big challenges is moderation.
Yes.
And you have a lot of the, different Facebook pages and the Nextdoor platform and all the other different ways of communicating online. But if the town is going to do it, it needs a moderation professional to deal with that, so that it doesn't turn into a bloodbath. And so I think the towns just choose not to do it at all, and I think they're missing some opportunities by not trying to find that way to do it. I can't solve the problem. I don't have many ideas in that regard, but I think that should be part of what the plan talks about as part of the community cohesion chapter, because I think that's the only way that we're going to begin to have people crossing those placental barriers of differences is to find a platform that could be a common way of people sharing differences of opinion, but in a respectful way.
Could I interject, please? Chris, to your point about social media becoming an important instrument, if you can control it properly, and getting the word out to people, one would think that could be another significant responsibility of anybody who's hired to be the webmaster.
Yes.
And and I have no idea what the set of job requirements are for that person, but if it's not in there explicitly, it probably should be put in there explicitly at this point in time, so that in considering the background, the experience, and the future capabilities of any person you hire, they know, it's not just simply updating the website.
How would a webmaster know what's important to a Belmont Center development? What should the residents know? That's not the webmaster's job. The webmaster can post it, but ultimately it comes back to the departments.
Yeah.
What do they need to say?
Right.
Well, can't you see the webmaster helping to organize that?
Sure, but webmaster is also a term from 1996. So yeah, so it's a combination. So what I would like actually for this committee to promote is that I know that there was talk last year about hiring a part-time social media person, and maybe it's a webmaster now, which is again a 1996 job term. Um, but what it comes down to is our department heads and our departments do great things for the community, and that needs to be conveyed. So do you want to hire somebody who knows how to HTML or social media, or do you want somebody who can communicate what our departments are doing and where do we want resident participation? And
Yeah,
it's a special kind of job, and it's a big job,
yeah,
but I appreciate it.
yeah,
Because
we
it
have,
needs,
we
it
have
needs
had,
to have,
Dark,
that's what we
really.
need. That is 100% what we need, is to
Yeah.
bridge the community to the departments.
I think you're talking about a PR professional. And a lot of communities actually do hire those.
I mean, Arlington has had one for like 10 years. So we can look to best practices. We don't need to pay somebody that much money. I mean, it's so easy to see what other communities are doing.
Are you talking about, Chris, about a PR professional well-versed in the digital age?
Yeah.
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 Really? Okay.
That's anybody who's been working in the last 15 years. No, it is not PR. It's well, I feel like I'm over speaking. So I appreciate that the town has somebody. It's not usually webmaster is a technical person. They're not a content person.
Right.
So we can have a technical person that can post things for our police department. But what would be nice if we had a content person that said, here are things that are, scams that are happening throughout our community.
Yeah.
For the reference.
So believe it or not, Kimberly, this was it's a carbon copy of a discussion that we had maybe 3 years ago, I believe, when we were talking about
Probably.
revising the town website, and one of the possibilities that came up at that time was do we educate each one of the department heads for how to control the content, and how make the platform easier to understand, such that you don't have to be a marketing professional in order to understand what content could be and should be sort of kept up to date and broadcasted to the public in bits and pieces. So I think it's not something that we've solved. It's obviously not an easy problem to solve. But I think that comment is very apropos, and I think it's something that we should definitely bring up yet again on,
Thank you. Yeah, because I think especially when we talk about like this project in Belmont Center or the
Mhm.
MBT3A or the community path, I have people ask me all the time, what's going on with the community path?
Believe me, I serve on the community path
I'm like, I
project.
don't know.
Yeah, so
It's a
yeah,
different website. It's, it doesn't, so.
there's one central and then two different because we have two different contractors.
So,
I get
so
that.
at the end of the day, I would say it would be great if we could tunnel things through the town website, the front
Mhm.
page, and
Mhm.
then any other websites and social medias, you know, just contribute to, or, spawn off of that. But it needs to be on the homepage because that's our credible site. There's so much misinformation these days, and
Mhm.
Belmont has so many extra websites. We have so many
There's a lot of
communities
content.
that
There's
have their own extra websites that it's hard to know what's credible, what's not, what's real, what's not.
right.
I think
So
overall, this conversation and this thread that we're kind of talking through right now seems to me to be a valuable thing to consider making a part of the comprehensive plan itself.
Information dissemination.
Yes, yeah. So I'm glad we had this.
Yeah.
yeah, it's unfortunate that Chris McClure wasn't able to make it tonight because so much of this obviously falls into his bailiwick, including this new hire that we're talking about, whether the job title is from 1996 or he's got a better idea in mind. And I think it's I don't want to speculate on it because ultimately that's not particularly helpful. I do, though, recall in one of our earlier discussions, may even have been the first time he joined us when he was first hired last year, um, that one of the things that he noted was the proliferation of websites and a desire to get them under one roof, if nothing else, so that that the whoever's doing the content, the content management is only has one place to go because ultimately, and I'm speaking from my own experience here, expecting every department head to or somebody on their staff to be the writer of everything is also going to fall apart because everybody's got a day job, and it just becomes an addition. And I can assure you that unless there's something major going on, that's not going to be the priority.
Yeah, I think actually what we may be coming around to on the webmaster is probably a misnomer at this point in time. I mean, once you have normally a consultant establish a website for you, then the entry and deletion of information from a website is pretty straightforward. And it doesn't require HTML to do it. And what we're sort of talking about is almost somebody who, in the business world, might be termed a marketing communications manager. And that's a person who can talk to the technical people. In this case, that would be the town department heads, take the information, put it in a form that can be translated and conveyed normally to customers. And the customers, of course, are the town citizens. So that's probably the best analogy I can think of in the business community. And that type of person, that marketing communications person, actually, I reared one, although she's not practicing in marketing communications right now. She would be lost if you asked her how to develop a website. But entering information on a website, listening to technical people, writing it up in a form that can be understood by other people, putting it on the website. Yeah, that's part of her job, or was part of her job description.
The difference between a town and a business is you have a marketing person in a business, because if you let the people that actually know what they're doing speak directly to the customers, you'll get way too much honesty. And I don't think that's really what we want in a town. I mean, I don't someone said it's not their day job to, do this, but it's everybody's day job to communicate about what they're doing, and they're going to have to do it to the marketing person if we hire that person. And there's no reason in this day and age to your point that it's not 1996 that people can't just have the authority and the means to have access to communicate directly to the citizens of the town through the website or through anything else. It's anybody who's qualified to have their job in the town is more than qualified to operate, to operate modern social media or a modern website interface. And we can't afford to have a marketing person anyways. I mean,
well, that's an issue as well. I mean, is there a budget there for that?
there's not a budget for half the stuff we already do, let alone
No,
something
but
like
what we do have for free, because we've already paid for it, are the analytics. I mean, Paul Roberts, we already have the analytics that we can get from Civic Plus. What are people Googling? What are people hitting on within the website? What are people asking about? And I think it's a little bit harder now with like the Gen AI, how searches are a little bit different. But I think that there are so many things that could be easily answered if I do a Google search. But right now, it's the content. So somebody talked about like a marketing person, whoever you call that person, somebody who says, can I throw styrofoam in my recycling? Like whatever it is, like what are those top things? We have the Google Analytics for that. And that's where I fear we don't have somebody who can look at that at a broad
well,
view. And
I'm agreeing with you more than you think, because I mean, what I'm saying is,
you've got
the
volunteers that can do that. We had a committee, we got volunteers.
My point is, there's somebody in the town who knows that. There's
I
somebody
don't expect public safety. I don't expect DPW. I do not expect town clerk's office to each go into.
But why not expect that from them? It's not that big a deal. It should be their job. And days past, would have been their job
Because
to
it
post
passes
things
the
on the
buck,
town
it's not my
square.
problem. So I don't know how many times you've called, and they should, but I mean, you can also call and, but that's actually DPW, that's not animal control. Or there's a lot of kicking some oversight I think is helpful. But we're on the same page, but some oversight is helpful because
I
a
agree
lot
with
of
you.
stuff falls between the cracks.
If we had this discussion 3 years ago and we never came to a solution where town employees or at least business division leads have the ability and the authority to put information out to the community, then we screwed up. Quite frankly, we just screwed up.
I think we do, but we just haven't made it easy for them. And I would add that, I'm in a small startup and we don't have marketing, but we do a lot of marketing. AI is very, very, very good at assembling information, putting exactly what you want as content and formatting nicely. And even, so I think in today's, world, I think it should be much easier for department heads to format the content the way they want it and make it public.
It just needs to be updated and correct.
Yeah. Like, I don't think we're not marketing. People want this information. They're searching for it. They just can't get it. We're not trying to sell something. People, have needs and they're trying to fill them. All we got to do is I don't even care if it's ugly. It just needs to be out there, and it's not.
No, I need a fire department inspection. Yeah. How do I do that?
Yeah.
If you can tell me how to do that in the next 30 minutes, I'll make it cookies. But that's the kind of thing, because it's so. First, you need to go to this department, but then you need to go to that department, but then maybe we'll call you and then we'll schedule you 3 weeks later, but only if it's a Tuesday and only if you're approved by the health department. So that's where we need some element of oversight, is that we have so many procedures that cross multiple departments.
Oh, so I mean, what you're talking about is not just information, though. It's the fact that bureaucracies suck, and I agree with you there. But
that's information from a resident. It's information. You're sitting at town halls. It's bureaucracy. As a resident, it's it's service. It's satisfaction. It's my taxes. How many people do I need to call about? I want a dog license to run my dog in a park. It's multiple people's. How can we make it easier? And that's technology. So I think we've moved away from what Chris originally was talking about. But it's the same thing. How do we present really complicated, or what should not be complicated, but are complicated? How do we present complicated things on our website to people at the most basic level and start there? And it's basic.
So
And
David,
then you can pull out your
Yeah.
fire hose. But it's the basic things. AI is going to pick up the most basic things. 80% of your residents are going to pick up those most basic things. And the people who want to deep dive, you know,
David, I wanted to ask you what would be a good way to wrap up. I've taken a lot of notes here, and I'm going to get a lot of information back to the committee. Maybe that's a good next step.
Mhm.
I'd be glad to come back if you want to continue the discussion after having digested some of the information. But I also encourage you guys to proactively think about how to maybe share some of your thoughts about how to make the town more efficient, more responsive, more communicative, and basically use the tax dollars as wisely as possible as well, and garner more tax dollars through economic development. That's another thing as well. But I definitely value, one of the reasons why I personally wanted to come to this meeting rather than a member of the committee is because I have a lot of ideas myself that my own department needs a lot of help. We need a new permit tracking system. We need other tools to do things that right now we're not doing very well or at all. So just let me know what we can do to get you guys plugged in.
Yeah, so certainly we can invite you to future meetings to continue the discussion. As for, I think for ITAC, our charter says that we want to try to provide help and guidance to the extent possible to all the town departments. I mean, we mostly work naturally with the IT departments, but we're certainly not limited to them. And I would say to keep us out of trouble, if we were to have discussions with you, it would just be one or two of us, so that it doesn't become the whole open meeting law thing, just to have a conversation. Obviously, if we're going to do anything as a committee, as opposed to those couple of people saying, "Oh, hey, I can do something with that," and volunteering, and it's that's great. But if it's something where we felt like this is a bigger topic and we should write a paper on it, then that has to come back here, and it becomes a broader thing. But certainly we can set something up where I'm sure I could find myself or a couple others on the committee to meet with you to talk about your specific things. We can help advocate with Chris if he's got to do something to the systems in the town in order to make something particular happen. We can work on helping to advocate for that, or whatever. That's essentially, I see that as our job.
Okay. Well,
Chris,
again, go ahead.
do you plan on talking to the community path, CPPC community path project committee?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
I think somebody from the committee
Already reached out to you?
might have already made that contact with what's her name?
Holly.
Holly. That's right.
Okay, good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I started to disrupt, but
No. We have everybody plugged in somewhere to pretty much every committee in town that we thought I think was relevant. There might be some that kind of are on the fringes but for the most part, we're going to try to hit every one. And like I said, if there's a need to come back or begin a dialogue between the, which is called COMPAC, Comprehensive Plan Advisory Committee, in a thinking about 1996, COMPAC was definitely the computer of choice back then. But anyway, with not trying to be funny, but just a way to remember the name. And I definitely would love to get the two committees talking to each other more.
Okay,
And
that
thank you
sounds
for
really
having me.
good.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right. You'll hear from me soon.
Okay,
Take care.
take care.
Thanks
Have a
so
good
much.
night.
Looking forward to it.
Okay. The last thing, well, the next to last thing on the agenda is the open discussion where any other topics can be brought up.
I've got
Paul, I think oh, go ahead, Charlie.
a question. Are we going to receive anything from Chris Ryan at this point in time, or does he have to go back to advisory committee and see where they stand and where the consultants stand? I mean, I'm not rushing things necessarily. I'm just wondering, right, what might be coming down the pike to us and when.
So I'm not going to make a promise, but I inferred that he's got some things back from the consultant, but it's not in a form that he would be able to like fire up a screen share and do something with tonight. But that he offered to take a look at that and put something together for us, and I assume he would send it to me, and I could share it to the committee.
Okay, so it's that sort of an outline or a little bit more that their consultants have put together that he hopes to see improved, if you wish. Maybe expand.
Well, I mean, we I guess through Phil, I think it was, asked for that, and he said that he would do something, but I'm only guessing at what he's actually offering. I don't actually have a more solid idea than what I just said.
What
So
would you-
everything you're saying is just more speculation.
what would
And I don't want you to
what
be disappointed if it doesn't come out that way.
would you like me to put into the minutes as what we expect in the near term? If you want to put anything specific.
You can just say that. I mean, I would. I don't remember exactly how he put it, but my inference when he did say was that he had a bunch of things back from the consultant that that he was not able to do something with tonight, but that he would put together. I think he said it might even have used the word summary, but I'm not certain, and send that out.
Okay.
I'd like to go on record as asking our AI assistant who is listening to this meeting what he or she thinks Chris Ryan is going to produce.
Okay, that's a good idea. I will give it a try.
You know what that guy says, Jonathan.
It may generate a whole document, and
Yeah, but here's us asking the question too.
Yep.
And can it respond to it? And it's a summary.
Well, I see it's thinking right now.
uh-oh. We've achieved the singularity, or whatever.
He said that he would provide information that has been provided to the CPAC that they've already given feedback on. Products that have been developed so far by the consultant, though he noted they are very much in their infancy, and a summary of materials from the consultants that he wasn't able to present during the meeting. That might have been because of me talking. He talked about draft vision statements, overall and chapter specific, information gathered from focus groups and surveys, and chapter outlines and background information.
Yep.
Okay.
And what I will do is, just for grins, I will save this thing and send it to Charlie so that if he wants to put it in the minutes, he can.
Or send me the entire AI rendition of the meeting.
Well, no, I'm going to send you that. I'll send you that too, but this is the specific question I just asked it.
Okay, fine. I need to speak to you, after the end of the meeting for a few minutes, okay?
Okay, sure. Just wait till we're done and I turn off the recording.
Sure, that's fine.
Uh,
You know, one thing that I'd like to mention, I thought we had a really very good, energetic discussion, you know, with Chris Ryan, and Kimberly, if you're still on the horn here, I think it was improved and enhanced by your participation in the Q&A. So, way to go. Please come back next time.
okay, so
I-
to the open discussion, I think, Paul, you wanted to bring something up?
Oh yeah, my minor thing, which is just that the next Fix-It clinic has been scheduled for the Beach Street Center, and that is going to happen. One second. On and I got a link I'll share in the chat.
Yeah, make sure you put it to
October-
everybody, not just me.
Yep. October 25th, Saturday, from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Beach Street Center. So I'll definitely go out on Blog and Belmont and stuff with this. But if you got stuff to fix and or want know people who have stuff to fix or want to fix stuff, go to the Fix-It clinic.
2 espresso makers.
Yep.
Thanks for doing that, Paul. I think that thing's awesome.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, there was a little Peter Mooey who started the whole Fix-It clinic thing was a little bit like, well, shouldn't we just wait until the library opens? And I was like, no, like it's
Things are already broken.
both and not either or. Like that's probably going to be after the new year, and let's just do one in the fall. And so we worked it out and got one scheduled, and library folks are very open to it, so it's good.
That's great.
Yep. Here, I'll throw it into the main chat. There's a link for the library. So yeah, I brought last time I brought a jigsaw that I had that had broken, like little, just wouldn't power on, and turned out to be a little, as it turned out, $3 little, mini circuit. Yeah, that just needed to replace it and soldered the new one on and got it working good. So
Nice.
diagnosed it there, fixed it at home. But so that may be for many, unless what you're fixing is mechanical, if it's electronic, almost certainly you're going to need to order some part and do the repair later.
Hey, Paul, I have a question. Do you have any volunteers who are actual electricians and or plumbers so that they can look at something and, for instance, in this case, this particular case, say, yep, all you need is this, or all you need is that?
I mean, most of them are not by trade electricians or plumbers. Most of them are just kind of folks who are, electronics wizards and, really capable with doing, circuit board repairs and stuff like that, have the necessary diagnostic tools and stuff to figure out, what's broken for an electronics thing or just, for the mechanical stuff. Some of them are just, talented repair people. But most of them have day jobs doing something else. Yeah.
Just wondered.
Yeah. No, I mean, you do see some micro soldering at Fix-It clinics, like really kind of fine soldering stuff, but generally not. Yeah. So yeah, it's folks from all over, greater Boston area who come to different towns and donate their time. It's really nice.
Oh,
And
so,
some of them are Belmont people, some of them are not.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Didn't know
The
that.
Fix-It coaches. Yeah.
My son is really good at mechanical keyboards.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
He's built a couple of for a couple of his friends.
Cool. So yeah, so that's something to put on your calendar. And on the BMLD stuff, did have a conversation with my contact at Dragos just to follow up on that. So I believe that she was going to reach out and make sure that that was moving along. I'm not sure. I haven't followed up, so I'm not sure if anything happened.
Thanks.
Yep.
Any other topics?
I've got a quick one.
Yep.
I think it's quick. So Kristen was a select board appointee, and so am I. And as co-chair, the select board asked me my opinion on all of the people who volunteered to serve on the ITAC, which turned out to be me and Charlie, for the select board appointees.
Yeah.
So what this tells me is we're the only two.
Really?
There's nobody else. So if you know anybody,
Job security right there.
I'm sorry.
Job security right there for the two of us.
Well,
I thought I was a select board appointee as well.
Yeah, there should be 4, 4, and 1, right?
Yeah. So I'm just
So there
talking
should
about
be
people-
3 now.
Yeah, I'm only speaking about people who are up for renewal this year.
Oh, I see.
Not everyone.
Got it. Yeah.
Not everyone. You're safe for another couple of months. But it doesn't look like there's anybody in the pipeline. So as far as I can tell, if you know anybody and you want to get us back up to a full strength of 9, I guess, let's go out and recruit somebody.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I mean, hopefully Lars, maybe that's going to work out.
Right.
But if it doesn't, then we'll keep looking, I guess.
Yeah. Good point. Thank you, Dan. All right. Last call before we look at the next meeting. Okay, let's look for the next meeting. So we've moved to Tuesdays, which is a little rough for me in the fall, but I can skip a band practice if I have to. But the end of September and beginning of first week of October are actually no, Tuesday the 30th would work for me if we were to pick that date, because that's in between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur.
And that's
I will be here for that date as well. I also mentioned that my memory is correct, the reason we went to Tuesday was because Kristen had immovable.
Yeah, that was primarily it. Yeah, we used to be the third Thursday, and we've kind of moved way off of that. Third Thursday in September is the 18th. That's I guess if it's okay with everybody, we could go with that. It's an open day. Actually, no, I may not be. I think that's my potential trip to Virginia that is still up in the air.
Okay.
the
The fourth week in September, I'm out the entire week. So
yeah, and that's like Rosh Hashanah is that week. There's no way I'm doing anything the week of the 22nd.
Yeah.
That's why I put the 30th out there.
Okay.
If we could also, and we can't do October 2nd because that's Yom Kippur, or at least I can't.
So September 30th is fine for me. I just wanted to mention that I don't think we're chained to Tuesdays anymore if we want to change.
Okay. But I think for now, if September 30th works for most of us, then let's go with it. Like I said, I can skip a band practice. They added more of them this year.
Looks like it works for me.
Yeah, it's okay for me.
Is this a community
Okay.
band or is this some other kind of
Yeah,
thing?
the community band.
Oh, I got to check that out.
Yeah, when are you going to perform?
Sometime in November. I don't remember the exact date off the top of my head.
What's your type of music?
It is whatever Mr. McClellan comes up with, but it's typically concert band music. He's does a lot of like European folky things. He's got some more jazzy things. He's got a pretty good mix.
Okay.
Nice. We'll have to
And
show up. You're gonna have to make sure that we're aware of this concert so we can.
have an ITAC meeting.
Yeah,
bring
right.
our ITAC
Yeah, right. We'd
the
have to.
ITAC
We
shirts
we
to
can't have a
wear.
quorum in the auditorium, right?
Well, as long as we don't talk about anything. I'll probably be there videoing the whole thing for the media center. So,
No.
Yeah. Yeah, the last in the spring they had it coincide with the middle school concert. I'm assuming they're going to do
Yeah.
something like that again in November, but I don't know what concert it is.
they still do Bandorama.
I would assume so, but I have no idea actually. My kids are long gone from
Yeah.
that.
Was an institute.
Strangely enough, so is Mr. McClellan. It was funny, but our concert was his first time in the high school auditorium.
Wow.
You know, because it was still Chenery when he retired.
Yeah, that is so crazy. He was such a huge figure.
Yeah. Okay, so we're all set for September 30th. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor? I guess.
Hi.
All right, so we'll adjourn. Let me turn off the recording and